Hey y'all, I'm back with the Scrapbook and Project Life process video using the Hip Kit Club December 2016 kit. And I'm starting with this really pretty pattern paper by Paige Evans from the Take Me Away collection. And I'm using the stencil from our color kit. Now the dimensional paste, it's in spun sugar. That's actually from a previous kit or a previous color kit, but I did want to use that just to add some texture to the background. I love this stencil and I love that it works like perfectly with that dimensional paste. I'm also going to add some mist at the end from our color kit from this month. So I let that sit overnight and it actually didn't warp too bad, but because like any sort of warping drives me nuts, I decided to, I've seen Wilna Furstenberg do this where she creates like a mixed media background or a mixed media element, and then she cuts it out and like sews it onto a blank white piece of cardstock. And I just loved the way that that turned out because I still get the same look without the warping or without having to worry about my final photos not turning out because of the warping. So I'm taking this stack of pattern paper and I'm just looking through it and cutting various sizes to layer behind my photo. And I have this card from one of the cards from the Project Life kit, and I just I cut the hello out. And the reason I did that is because the photos of my daughter back in February of 2016, and it's actually on Valentine's Day. And this day just was a really all around really good day. I mean, I think it landed on a Sunday, so I believe we went to church and then we went to the grocery store as a family, and she had opened her little Valentine's basket that we got her. And it was her first Valentine's. And I just remember being in the grocery store, and she was just so friendly to everybody. She wanted to wave at all the people she saw. And so I just remember stopping like by the butter and saying like, I need to take a picture of her. Of course, my husband gets embarrassed because he's like, walks off. I'm sure he walked off because I'm always like snapping photos of her in random places. But anyway, so and he's gotten used to it by now, but I went ahead and layered up right behind that photo. And like I was saying, I had cut that piece, that card, hello, 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 out because I want to use that as part of my title. And here's where I cut those into strips. And I used the, let's see, title Little Moments from the Amy Tangerine Thickers collection. And just so that I can go back on my layering, what I did was I just simply stacked the papers behind, and I can do a video on layering at some point if you guys want, but I stacked them behind the photo, and then I just took my stapler to adhere it all together, and you can barely see the staples. And even if you're worried about that, you can cover it up with embellishments, which I think I do down here in this corner. I'm using a lot of the ephemera pieces from the Take Me Away collection, and I believe I'm trying to look. I know the hello card that I cut up is exclusive to the Hip Kit Club, and I think one of the papers that I cut up is exclusive as well. It has like the black and white floral. I put it up in the corner and I also layered it behind. I just felt like the layout needed a pop of pop of black because there was so much color. I am using a few of these little stars that are exclusive to the Hip Kit Club as well. And then now I'm just trying to look to see if there's anything else that I want to use. But I pretty much finished that up, and I get some of my mist, the Heidi Swapp Sweet Mint mist, and I sprinkle that. And one last thing, I added some of the gold mirrored acrylic pieces from my Mind's Eye. And that pretty much completes the layout, and I'm going to move into my Project Life process now, right after I get the mist the way that I want it to. Okay, so for my Project Life process, I am still working on a 9 by 12 spread, but I'm actually, for 2017, I'm going to move back into 12 by 12. Actually, I don't think I've ever done 12 by 12 in Project Life. I have a ton of the page protectors, but I haven't actually, I think the first time I did 8.5 by 11, this one's 9 by 12, and I think my third, like for 2017, I'm going to use a 12 by 12 spread. So I am starting with the cards, and I mentioned this before, but we were able to print them because they weren't in on time, and the card, so they're exclusive cards, and I don't think I scaled them to the right size, or I don't think that I messed with the size at all, which meant that they printed like a little smaller, and I don't know if that's my doing or what, but anyway, all that to say that I have to back them behind some pattern paper, which ends up looking really nice anyway. So I do like the way that that turns out. And I cut a couple of pattern papers to size, and I'm just adhering my photos. The card that says here and now, that all the cards basically that you're seeing are exclusive, or the pieces of paper that I'm using are exclusive to the Hip Kit Club, whether it's a 3x4 card or a piece of patterned paper. But the card that says here and now, I went ahead and did some bullet journaling there, or a little checklist just to notate what we did that week. Now, I do that when, number one, I'm lazy and I don't want to like type out a whole thing and I don't want to have to think, and two, when I don't think I'm going to have enough room. So I'm using the little mirrored acrylic pieces to just to note that it's week 21, and I used the W and the K is from the Take Me Away collection thickers. I'm using a couple other little exclusive pieces like that tag that I just adhered. It came in one of our little ephemera packs. And then I'm using some of these cut aparts that are exclusive as well. We were able to print those, and so like I mentioned before, I'm not shying away from printing several and using a ton on each layout or each spread because I have extras. Normally I would probably like try to save certain ones for perfect projects, but I'm not doing that this time. So that picture that I'm working on was a picture of when it's a mess is what it is. I was a picture of when I was working on Ava's invitations for her first birthday, and it was a tea party theme. And I created the invitations myself. I used my silhouette to cut like the teapot, and then I made sure that the teapot was going to fit in an envelope and that it wasn't going to be like too crazy big. And then I had to like also use my die cutting machine, the Big Shot or the Big Kick or whatever it is I have, to cut like the part where it says, all of the info. And so they turned out really cute, but I made a huge mess. So I just wanted to note that I was working on her invitations that week and that it was a huge mess. And so I thought that the scissors and the little cup thing with the tools was perfect for that. And so I'm trying to put hashtag mess or messy, but I couldn't really fit it that way. And so I actually ended up like taking it off and doing it vertically, which I ended up liking a lot better. Just kind of a little subtle pop of glitter on that little card. And so I like the way that turned out. I'm trying to think of what else I've done. I don't think I've done anything that you guys aren't aware of at this point. I added a little wood veneer to that bottom card there, going vertically with that exclusive banner. That also came in the ephemera pack. And these are some punched punched stars from pattern paper from our kit. And I punched those with a punch that I own. And they're just a fun little element to add, especially when you're not really sure what else to use. And so always like make use of your punches and punch a bunch at one time and then keep them, and that way you can just pull them out. That's kind of what I did there. But here are some final photos. I hope you guys enjoyed both of these processes and have a great, let's see, it's going to be Saturday when I post this, so have a great weekend.